And we're back live from Lucky Leaf. We're here with Mark Waller and Betsy Morem from Morem Waller CPAs.
Hey.
Good to see you guys.
Hello, thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Welcome back to Lucky Leaf, year 2.
Yes. Feels like we were just here.
How are you enjoying Lucky Leaf so far?
It's been great. We had the crash course yesterday. I got to present with the great Jen Riza and the great Alec Piscatelli yesterday.
Fun fact.
Yeah.
Jen Riza, the Riza in Jen Riza, is a last name that her and her previous husband decided upon themselves. So
really?
they created that because Riza in German, like to have a gute Reise is like to have a good journey.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know that until Jen was on the show last week, but Riza is like a crafted name.
That's amazing.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
Crafted like the cannabis industry is crafted.
yes. It takes a ma and a pa.
Exactly.
So get us up to speed, get the audience up to speed. How long have you guys been working together as Morem Waller?
We're coming up on 5 years, actually, which has flown by.
Season 5 has started.
Yeah. And it won't be our last season. Many more seasons to come.
No.
Yes.
We're like SNL. Like we're gonna go
50 strong.
50 years. Yeah, exactly.
I can't wait to
see. In 50 years, I'll be 87, so I really hope I'm not still working.
Right. Yeah.
We'll retire a little earlier than that. Yeah.
What are your goals for this year with respect to the Minnesota cannabis industry as well as the clients that you serve across the country?
Really just continuing to stay compliant is first and foremost thing, but beyond that, we really want to be able to help folks get their projections in hand and have true CFO support. And that guidance on the financial side, I think, is the piece that is often missing because you're spending so much time just kind of catching up on everything. So our goal is, okay, we obviously will get you totally caught up, but then how do we help you grow?
Yeah, absolutely.
Betsy's a pro in that, by the way.
Okay, tell us more.
Well, I think what distinguishes us from maybe a typical brick and mortar firm is that we are both looking in the rearview mirror and also helping clients look forward. So we are putting together the accounting data and we're saying, okay, what does this all mean?
Yeah.
And how can we potentially course correct going forward? So we are really, we act as our client's strategic financial and accounting partner. We're there, we want them to succeed, and so we're helping them make those more strategic decisions versus just, all right, here's your accounting, here's your reports, talk to you next month. Right,
it's more GPS, a little bit more trying to help guide them towards their journey.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm going to steal that, thank you.
Ideas are free here, baby. So tell us a little bit, the crash course, were there some interesting questions that came up, or how was the audience?
There were. The audience was really good. It's really hard to pack so much content into 50 minutes. So, you want to be able to continue those conversations. But my message was all about looking at what are the rules in Minnesota, what are the ones that are about to be adopted, and how do you stick to them. And the nuances of how to actually stick to them are super important.
Right, and I know you've been vocal about the 10 years of tax returns.
Yes.
So for folks that don't know, let's say they get their license this year in 2025, they'll be required to hold on to their tax returns for 10 years until 2035?
Exactly.
Until Betsy's like, no, I'm just kidding.
Do the quick math here.
I don't even want to think about that.
No, I'm just kidding. But that's pretty outrageous.
It is, and it's longer than back in my big firm accounting days. We had these tax files. We had big libraries of tax files, and their policy was we keep 7 years, and once it's beyond 7 years, it goes in the shredder. So you have to keep even more than what the big accounting firms normally keep.
I've been wanting to ask you this for a while. What is the reason why? Is it so that they can, it's a little bit of a gotcha potentially? I mean, I don't know. What are they going to look for 8 years from now, potentially?
I mean, it might just, I'm just totally speculating here, but it might just be one of those things that is a way to make sure you really keep everything. I don't know. It could be one of those things. Ultimately, it may not even matter when, if and when a company gets audited either by the feds or the state or the OCM in this case.
Right.
you have to think, the auditor is not necessarily like your enemy, even though, we always want to, we always hear about a lot of fear about the auditor, but like ultimately, like the auditor wants to help you get through that process. And so depending on who you get, I'm not saying that everybody's going to be this way, but I've always worked with reasonable auditors. So if you don't have that, maybe there's something else that they can look at to help check the box, but
I mean, not even to dive that deep. Yeah. When you do get audited, what are you going to have to provide? What are they going to look for?
Yeah, I mean, definitely the big ticket things. Definitely like your sales, your inventory, how money comes in the door. They're going to look at what are your closing processes. What do you do with cash? They'll look at everything else, but those are the biggest things. I think is
internal control processes.
Exactly.
That first. Which it's important that if you're getting into this business that you really set up those processes well at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Because it's so much more difficult to, even a couple months into opening your store, let's say, to try and find time to set those things up when you're working on your business every single day. So
it comes down to routine, consistency, not thinking because everything is already in place. So I'm just going to keep doing it because Morem Waller has set me up in the right way, and so I'm going to follow these good practices.
Yeah. And it's definitely not the most exciting thing for business owners, but it can get exciting when you've got all of the things in place to be able to produce financials.
Yes.
I don't know. Maybe Mark and I are just weird, but
gives me an exciting.
It is exciting because you can actually have those fun conversations of, okay, what happened last month? Mm-hmm. What can we do differently?
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe our discount program is a little too generous.
Sure.
Those are the type of things that we like to dig deep into.
Right.
Yeah, because then that all it ultimately leads to greater profitability for the business owner, which is fun for them.
Yes, it's I mean, speaking as somebody who's still trying to kind of figure it out, right? Being able to set goals and then work towards them and seeing that you're getting closer to your goals, and maybe, you have a big hairy goal or something way out there, and the financial documents can help show you that you're on the right path.
Definitely.
Yes, and there's a saying that says, what gets measured gets done.
Yes.
And I've seen that so many times where if you set a goal and you actually track that goal, you are so much more likely to meet that goal.
I also think on the flip side, you only achieve what you set out to.
Definitely.
And so if you don't set your goals high enough, or if you don't work with a financial planner or an accountant that can help you really see that vision forward, then you may not realize your full potential.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
I know that was a bit of a deviation from the how long you have to keep your tax returns for, but...
Oh, yeah, I love that we landed here.
It always goes to internal controls for CPAs.
Is that ICP, is internal control procedures? Is there? Give us a rundown on a couple good acronyms in this.
Okay, well, here's a good one.
Yeah.
So, cannabis owners should be familiar with GAAP, which is Generally Accepted Accounting Principles.
Sure.
GAAP.
Yes, and we have to follow GAAP accounting.
Okay.
For all cannabis businesses, no matter their size.
Is that in Minnesota and in other states, or is
everywhere?
It everywhere.
It's everywhere. Yeah.
Okay.
Everywhere in the United States.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that does make the accounting more complex, or just, I don't know, maybe not more complex, but there are specific rules you have to follow.
Is that different than first in, first out, or?
Well, that's part of inventory tracking, which is under that umbrella.
Yeah.
You want more acronyms?
Yes. Hit me.
Oh man.
I mean, even CFO, right? That's an easy one.
CFO is an acronym. Yeah. Chief Financial Officer. You need to have that in place to help you achieve your financial and overall dreams.
And there's a difference between having an accountant and having a CPA. Can you talk about the differences in what a CPA unlocks, or what the risk is on your side a little bit as well?
Absolutely. So accountants can be really anybody who is practicing accounting. Betsy and I and our firm are a CPA firm, which means like everybody here in Minnesota who's trying to get a license with the OCM, we have a license with the state of Minnesota as well, with the Minnesota Board of Accountancy. So we definitely know what it takes to be licensed and stay licensed. There's a laundry list of ethical guidelines we have to follow on a yearly basis. We have to get continuing education credits every year. And then we have the ability to kind of be, at some point, providing some assurance to folks if you get to the point where you need to have an audit. We can serve as an independent auditor. We're not doing that right now, just to be clear, but that is something that we, at some point, will do, especially when the need arises here in Minnesota.
Right.
Yeah. So every CPA is an accountant, but not every accountant is a CPA.
Yes, that's a great way to put it. Yeah.
And
a
CPAs like to make
is
that.
A rectangle.
Yes.
Yeah.
And CPAs will always want to make that distinction because there was a very intense test that we had to pass
CPA exam
to get the designation. So it's important for us that distinction is made.
Absolutely. And
now, that's not to say you can't be a great accountant without that designation, but there is a difference.
And outside of accounting, talk a little bit about the squad, the partners that you surround yourself with, and the referral type. Let's talk about Allie and Laura.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about what you get when you come to Morem Waller.
We, being in year 5 for us, we've traveled the country. We've talked to all what I think are the best other consultants in the country who serve different needs. So our good friends Allie Piscatelli, who owns Budding Operations, she honestly is like the person that helps make our accounting inventory work super well, and she's
incredible.
Mind blown because how good she is at that.
And that deals with metric in a lot of cases.
So she knows metric on the back of her hand, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Laura Hand has been our chief marketing officer since day one, basically.
Yeah.
And she is doing amazing work with other cannabis brands. She has a company called Laura Lou Experience
Design. Yeah, she helps people with the customer journey.
Yeah, and actually, so we were on Conversations with Kush podcast together yesterday, and Laura and I were reminiscing that she and I met on Clubhouse in 2020, which I think I met you on Clubhouse as well.
That feels like a lifetime ago.
I know.
There are some folks in this room it's even greater than this room. Like the time spent on Clubhouse in 2020 and 2021 has served me well.
Seriously.
Yeah. And at the time that was the easiest way to organize. That was the easiest way to get updates out there to people.
Yep.
And I love looking back and figuring out how we all met, and I wouldn't have thought that it was Clubhouse, but now I can kind of picture a little circle that said Mark W on it.
Yes, exactly.
So they say that 1 year in cannabis is like 7 years.
Okay.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, because I'm 35 and I've been in this industry 5 years plus. I'd say, I think. Well, it's funny because cannabis as a terminology for our industry really popped 2023 as we got closer to the bill. 2020 really, it was through the bill and the language around the marijuana industry that Minnesota stood out by referring to it in statute as cannabis.
Yes.
But before that, this was all Minnesota hemp, CBD,
right.
And so I'd say what stands out to me more than the years itself is the cannabinoid mix that we've, it started as the CBD industry and then folks learned about CBG and then CB and then Delta 8 really and then CBN. And so I don't know.
We've evolved,
I think it has been a long time. I think my partner Meg would probably say it's been too long of a time, but it's been great. I mean, folks come into this market from out of state, whether it's Cova, Dutchy, Flow Hub, and they're really amazed at the community that we have here in Minnesota, and I hope that we can keep growing that.
Definitely.
It comes from us showing up to a regional event like Lucky Leaf and really educating the new people that are coming in and always finding room for new people to grow the market.
Exactly.
Minnesota's done a great job with the beverages. It's so accessible. Your mom can try it. You can drink it with other moms, other dads. You can technically have it at a soccer game. I don't know if people are doing
that this summer.
I think they are. I think they are doing that. Yeah.
Right.
It's great.
5 milligram dose or, a low dose beverage. I love that. Are you helping any folks transition from hemp to cannabis as it relates to the products, or are you mostly starting with folks in the cannabis industry?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mostly starting with folks in the cannabis industry, but we do have hemp-derived product clients,
sure,
which is exciting as well. And I think,
and some of them are staying there, some of them are looking. It's a little bit of a mix.
Right.
Yeah.
And
that's the interesting thing is
there's two tracks.
Yeah.
There are. Yeah.
So, with the rise of the cannabis industry, we've seen a new print media publication come online called Bloom, or The North Bloom, with Lynn Wackler and Angelique Zarillo, I believe her last name is.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about how you've supported Bloom and your contributions, and what stood out to you as a new print publication comes online.
Yeah, I was reached out to by Lynn probably several months ago, about the new publication Bloom, and was asked to write a column about money in that magazine. So we just released our second issue in February on the topic of love, and so we've done two publications. I was able to kind of co-author that second article with my wife, Dr. Bridget Musak, who is she's faculty at the University of Minnesota, and
what department is she in?
She's in the Department of Writing Studies, and she's faculty in there. So she's whenever I write something, she looks at it and she's like, let me take a look at that, Mark.
She's better than ChatGPT.
100%. A million times better. It's been a wonderful community already. I've already seen, issue 2 is taking off even more, and I was just talking to Angelique yesterday about starting to go digital. So, starting with the print, because that is so accessible, and the thing that I love about that is like folks like my parents-in-law who are, I would say, kind of curious. I can hand them a magazine, and it's like, hey, look, it's your daughter and your son-in-law who are writing in this, and go take a cannabis beverage from our refrigerator downstairs and learn a little bit more. So.
Yeah, it's continuing to help normalize it, whether it's a 12-ounce can or a magazine.
Yeah.
These are things that we need in order for the elder generations or the more standoffish people to realize that this is not the boogeyman. There's nothing.
Exactly.
There are differences between alcohol and cannabis, but you can, especially in Minnesota, you can find a low-dose product that will help you feel better for whatever you're looking for. And it's great to see that you're supporting a new media publication like The North Bloom.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Awesome. So if folks want to get in touch with you, if they're interested in some CPA services, where would you recommend they go?
Start with moremwaller.cpa, our website. We have all kinds of resources there. We're on Instagram, YouTube. We're on Blue Sky now. We just did that this past week. LinkedIn.
By we mean Mark.
I'm too much on my phone, so if you catch us in Blue Sky, it's really me.
How's Blue Sky's Timberwolves chatter?
It's good.
There's a pulse.
There's definitely a pulse there.
Good to
Timberwolves,
hear.
Vikings. It's Lynx. It's a good place to be.
Thoughts on the ownership agreement?
Oh man, I'm stoked.
Yeah.
I'm ready. Yeah, let's do this. A-Rod. I never thought I'd cheer for A-Rod, but here we are.
And Betsy, any last thoughts on your end?
My last thought is that this microphone is very heavy.
Yes.
And I feel like I am getting a really good bicep workout right now. So thank you for that, Steve.
It's like carrying a baby.
Yeah. I haven't carried a baby in a couple of years, so it's a good
anything
refresher.
We can do, to keep you young, Betsy. We're here for it. All right, guys. Well, this is Mark Waller and Betsy Morem, and we'll be right back.